Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the 2v2 League. We didn't forget about that thing. This is going to be a gameplay here between Khaan't and my cruise missile. You know this team, it's Garmulator and Catharsis, and the Unbound, which is going to be Descara and I. So FrostyTeeth added this feature where people who don't have a team or people who have a team but find it hard to schedule well, Tomcat's invited me to play. Sorry man, I'm doing a thing. Anyway, they can join a team called the Unbound here and just play together just for like a one-time thing. As like a single team. So Descara and I going to team up to challenge these guys. Not these guys, but these guys. Let me give numbers to the carriers here. And this will be fun. This will be a really nice 2v2 here because, of course, Descara and I both the finalists of the last tournament. Garmulator and Catharsis also finalists of tournaments. Garmulator having won quite a few of them. So both of these teams are very, very good. So this is going to be an exciting 2v2 for sure. Or rather it was, I mean, this is me, so you know, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. Both base runners moving out here in the beginning. Garmulator going to fly his probe over here. Descara and I having a little bit of a convention here. You'll notice I'm playing a little bit more passively than I normally do. We had the idea that if I go for railguns and Descara goes for AAVs, we might be able to get something nice done here. We tried to move out with the base runners to catch this probe, but it didn't look like we were going to be able to. But he flies in here, assuming, or I'm assuming he's trying to find out if we're going eco or not. Indeed we are. Got a couple of good shots on the base runner, or on the probe, and I thought maybe we can catch him here, but he is going to get out. Is that probe going to escape? Descara's probe, meanwhile, over on this side. Trying to see if there are units moving out over here. And indeed that is going to be the case, of course. You got Garmulator's base runner on this side right here. Catharsis is beginning to make some blast drones, and this was expected. If you've seen Kara Cup 5, you know, we pretty much figured something like this is going to happen. But Descara actually going to get shot down by that base runner, so he goes smashing into the desert. And that's rather unfortunate for us. Let's see, what are economies looking like? So we have an earlier refinery mode for a Galzian player, and Garmulator does not look like he's planning on expanding to a production cruiser either, so it's going to be more of an aggressive opening from these two. We have a turret down, we have blast drones, we've got a whole bunch of LAVs, and this is all going to be scouted by us, so we know it's coming. Now, this Sandskimmer could have done some good damage to the blast drones, but get sniped there with the turret. However, Descara is in position to do a similar thing here. We're going to pick up this artifact right here. Khaan't and my cruise missile is going to pick this one up right there. And this big stream of LAVs, totally, you know, Garmulator style. This is what we expect from him. I'm going to come in here, try to give me some grief here on my expansion. Of course, I have refinery mode, so this is good for them. It allows Catharsis to get refinery mode and not be behind, which essentially allows him to do some blast drone shenanigans here. So, in fact, let's see how that turns out for him. Descara needs to split. He probably will lose 2. He only loses 1, that's not bad at all. Meanwhile, I've been pushed off my base. I lost a couple of sand skimmers, but all my salvagers are okay right here. So this is actually a very good start from Descara and I. Really not getting caught off guard at all. And I really should add some context as well. We tried to play another game also, but that one desynced. Or I think what actually happened was that Catharsis' game crashed or something, and we were not doing as well in the early game. I still think we were in a favorable position, but it was not as good as this one. So that's kind of an interesting context, but shouldn't really affect this game too much. Meanwhile, Khaan't and my cruise missile here are going to actually extract 2 artifacts, whereas we only have 1 right here. Just a little bit of downtime right here. These LAVs easily going to chew off a little spot for themselves right there. You can see I still want to chase them, but it's difficult if they have more range, and this area of the map is very open, as you can see, so it's not very easy to push in that way. My base runner is going to take a little bit of grief here, but there are AAVs to cover, so that's not going to be an issue. And there's a turret right here as well, so the skimmers can't really retreat out this way, though they could hide behind this dune perhaps, but it'd be tricky. Not really safe for them at all. We're going to try to push out here now. I'm going to lose the sand skimmer here probably if I'm not paying attention. Yeah, he moved in, so he's definitely going to die right there. 2 extractions go down for the red team. Can't handle my cruise missile. This AV definitely going to be able to push off these skimmers, though. So the tech is probably going to be railguns. Yep, there you go. He already has them, in fact, from Garmlater. And he's on 2 bases. He likes to stay on 2 bases, actually. He's not really that much of a 3-base player. I'm going to be on 3 bases pretty soon. As you can see, I have another production cruiser coming out already. As for Catharsis, he's on 2. Doesn't look like he's getting on 3 just yet. And Descara is on 2. And making air units now. Does he have a sport cruiser coming out? Well, let me tell you, it would not fit out of there. But no, he does not. So it's gonna be, looks like 5 on 4 as far as the base count goes. And Descara also getting some air units already. You can see he's making 3 right there. Catharsis is making air units as well. And he actually has more. That's interesting. So in the game, Descara and I were talking, of course, on voice chat, and we were like, well, Catharsis can't have more air units because it takes him longer to make them. But actually he does have more right now, so... Of course that will eventually begin to favor Descara, but still, that part of our plan was that we assumed that he was down on air units, so that's actually nicely done from him. Definitely fooled us right there. Strike fighters getting launched here. They definitely want to be attacking the railgun that's behind these LAVs, because if that's gone, we could push in here. I'm getting missile ship fabrication just to cover some anti-air, which is going to be very good for us, because there are air units in the pipe for Catharsis. One railgun gonna get sniped right there. Air units probably launching for him now. Yep, they are. But Garmlater being very cautious, and that's good for him. He does outnumber the interceptors, but interceptors tend to win this kind of a fight. Yeah, you can see they've already taken 1 with no losses. Gonna take 2. And Descara probably just needs to dock now. Interceptors are really good, in case you didn't know. They're also going to just take some pop shots down on these AAVs here, which is what they're not so good at, of course. They're not very good at hitting these units, but look at that shot right there. Took out 2 railguns, actually. It's not bad at all. I was not really split properly there. Catharsis is still going to take some damage to his eco here, but his interceptors are going to clean this up eventually. I hear the turret firing over here, yep, against... Well, there's 2 turrets here now, actually, and also 2 blast drones, so... The blast drone shenaniganry may not yet be finished. You can see I'm trying to hold this with a missile ship here, but there are railguns that are able to shoot at it over this gap here, so it's difficult to hold that. And you can see by the red circle there, you know, LAVs have such a huge like field of vision. So it's much easier for Descara, it seems, to get... No, sorry, for Garmlater, it seems to get vision over the choke point to be able to shoot with these railguns than it is for me. Since sand skimmers do not have as much vision range like that. Descara still only has lost 1 strike fighter. He's very good at keeping those alive there. Catharsis, meanwhile, has lost none, but there's an anti-air turret up. There's also missile ships up here, so we've got a thing going there. It will be difficult for these interceptors to find value on this side of the map, but over here, there's still an opening. Descara is getting sport cruiser anti-air, but this eco is vulnerable at the moment, and definitely Catharsis is going to go for that. The probe gets sniped here. Good probe snipes from him. Some people say that's a waste of missiles, but I think it's good. Descara splitting, of course, to minimize his losses over on that side. I've got a lot of assault railguns here, but they can get picked off really easily. So this is a difficult fight for me to manage. I was constantly trying to reselect the railguns over on this side because of stealth railgun syndrome and trying to like keep these guys from dying but keep them in a position where they can assist. So it was a really tricky micro. I'm going to pick off 1 LAV right here, but we lose this thing. We lose an assault railgun. Garmlater has sport cruiser anti-air, and so, what's his face? Descara pushed back from that side of the engagement. You notice my carrier is up here. There's an anti-air turret post. There's missile ships like everywhere, so we have certainly some good anti-air cover. Content on my cruise missile, meanwhile, you'll notice picked up 2 more artifacts here, so they have 2 artifacts being picked up. This one probably going to get denied by Descara, but that one looks like it will probably score. Canyon Outpost, of course, is a map where it's very easy to score artifacts. It's not very difficult. If you look at the upgrades here, that'll be a big difference. I have 2 armor, he has nothing so far, and I'm getting rating as well. So my sand skimmers here are going to be able to take this fight, and I know that, but I come in here, I realize this carrier is guarding the choke point, I'm just going to have to run away. But that increases the length of this stalemate here. I can't push in with the assault railguns, but I can't push in with the sand skimmers either, but he can't really push out, you know, so it's kind of constant back and forth here. The fact that carriers can't cross the bridge makes this a very interesting fight. He does have the range on me, of course, and he's doing some good damage already. Assault railguns, once again, trying to get involved into the action, but they just get sniped. They can't really do too much right there. But the railgun count is beginning to look good for me, and I believe this is more... Yeah, this is more heavy railguns than it is railguns here. That's another Galzian advantage, of course. Not to mention the fact that I'm on 3 bases, he's only on 2. Oh, actually, no, he's kind of on 3. But, you know, I don't have to get the assault ship line in order to get my 3rd production slot. I just have 3 production cruisers here. So I'm making railguns very quickly. Descara gonna try to stop this cap here, but it doesn't look like that's gonna work. He might be able to punish the unit afterwards, though. There's a blaster hiding behind the hill here, and that could do some good damage. Catharsis Micro definitely being taxed here, though, as he's trying to handle, you know, all kinds of units all over the map. His air units and also this blaster in here. Now these railguns are moving in. I want to take the railgun fight here because I know I have the numbers. They all miss. That's funny. But I am still winning the railgun fight there. I can't push in too far with the Sandskimmers because of the carrier, but I am getting good value here. However, we did sense that Garmlader was close to a cruise missile at this point, which indeed he is. You can see he just got Power Reserve 5. So I'm going to split my railguns here. I really don't want to get nuked. That would have me, you know, very tilted. And this is going to be a money shot right here. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. LAV's forced to back away again. My carrier, meanwhile, is over on this side, just kind of being annoying, but also taking lots of damage, so... cruise missile getting a launch here for Garmlader. You can see what vision he gets. He knows my carrier is not there, but he's not going to get the production cruiser, of course, just the salvagers. That is going to be pretty annoying, though, and I'll have to fill that one back up. That may slow me down in the railgun fight here. Trying to get like cinematic shots here. This is some number of Sandskimmers. Looks like the LAVs outnumber it, but once again, no upgrades on those LAVs. Rating is done as well, so I can get in there very quickly. Okay, LAV's gonna try for another invasion here, but they get pushed back. Actually, I'm not sure what they got pushed back by. There was nothing really there, but... Railgun's getting shots on the carrier from afar, but that's not really such a big deal. Descara trying to keep this guy alive here, puts down an anti-air turret, but actually got sniped by the interceptors that were shooting at it, so that was pretty sad for Descara. He warned me at this point, hey, your railguns are kind of fighting piecemeal here. It's true, actually. I was trying to get like a concave, but it's very easy for Garmlader, it seems, to shoot across the choke point there. What's interesting about this is that I thought it was a line of sight blocker, but it's actually not. So you can shoot like through the chassis of like this whole big thing here, which is a little strange, but just how it is, I guess. Air units are trying to raid Descar's eco again, but this time he's got anti-air, so he takes out an interceptor for his troubles. Catharsis, by the way, has got 9 of them, or at least he did before. Well, I guess he had 8, and one's still being produced here. So it's quite a big focus on air for him, and he does have siege. I hope you noticed. He's got 3 siege cruisers out, actually. I'm gonna try a run by with my Sandskimmers here, but that is what I will discover. Like, oh shoot, can't do anything there. There's a siege cruiser already. And as you can see, they do have quite a lot of range. That one was able to shoot at them from far off. So, in case you didn't know, Sandskimmers are a counter to siege in general because they're very fast, very hard to hit. But Khaan't siege has these direct fire missiles, and they will just obliterate Sandskimmers. Like, it's not even funny. They also have 16 armor. As you can see, my shot does 15 damage, so I'm doing 1 damage per shot. Very easy for me to be killed there. It's not a good engagement. I can't fight there. This is a really nice backstab from Catharsis. Another cruise missile, by the way, going to come in here on this production cruiser. Hashtag tilted. But it's not on the railguns, which is honestly better for us. I think this kind of represents Garmlader not knowing where he should be cruise missiling because he doesn't have vision on my army. So it's a good thing that we are not showing this. My Sandskimmers are down here cleaning up this backstab, which has taken out a support cruiser, which is very efficient. So I'm kind of trying to fight with only my railguns here, and I actually don't get pushed there. And that's a miracle from Sejuk, if I must say so. He may have been worried about the missile ship. I'm not totally sure why, but he could have pushed in there and probably cleaned up all of these. So that would have hurt, kind of. Actually, with that same thought in mind, though, I've gotten assault ship fabrication, and now I'm going to be making assault ships to cover the choke with the railguns, which frees up the sand skimmers to move out elsewhere on the map and try to do some damage over there. Descara has got a lot of railguns right here. It's tricky to fight railguns versus siege, but if anyone can do it, you know, I would trust someone like Descara. Meanwhile, I'm going to move up here with the rails. We see the carrier, so I can get some good damage dumps on the carrier there. And I did take out a railgun for my troubles, so I've traded unevenly here, but not that unevenly. And actually his carrier now, looking at it, it's like about half health or so. So with this many railguns on the field, you know, we need to be very careful with our carriers. They can die quite quickly. Quite quickly indeed. Did you hear that noise? Interceptor's doing some good damage here. They snipe off the missile ship as well, which allows them to come in here for these railguns. I'm kind of in charge of anti-air coverage, so it's tricky for me to get that many missile ships in the field. I do have the assault ships now, so I'm no longer worried about a backstab of LAVs on this side. And actually, I thought to myself I should get range calibration. That would be pretty effective here, but I don't end up doing that. So. But I was thinking about it, if we can actually shoot across the line of sight blocker, range calibration would be huge. I come in here with the sand skimmers for a bit of a backstab, but it gets covered by these siege cruisers. What I really wanted was to stop this artifact. Of course, if it scores, but they're going to be on 4. And it's very easy to score again on this map, because this artifact here, very easy to get. This is the only one that actually takes field control to have. I also kind of forget about these sand skimmers. Just a second, they take a lot of damage there. Another railgun war commencing here, but this one's got to go in my favor. I have so many more numbers than he does. And I'm wondering where Garmulator's resources have gone into, but look at this, he's just now getting heavy vehicles armor 1, whereas I've had railgun armor 3 this whole time. So the fight has definitely been going well for me. And I'm going to take this moment to try to push over here. I'm also moving out with these sand skimmers, going to see if I can snag that artifact if it's possible. Descara tried to nuke it, but it did not die. It's at, you know, about a third health. I push in here, get some good railgun kills, and then I back away. If I had known, actually, there's no railguns left here, I probably would have pushed further. Air units kind of wreaking havoc on me right here. I did clean up Catharsis' sand skimmers, and now I'm thinking, well, maybe I can come in here, do some damage to the base runner, but I'm not going to get that one. Oh, what? No, I am. Catharsis, he blew it up with his own siege cruisers, but you can't really blame him. There's no disable auto shooting feature on the Khaan't siege. That's pretty funny, though. Well, there's 2 siege cruisers right here attacking my carrier, and there's also air, so I have to back away. I've unplugged my laptop on accident there, so it's experiencing quite a lot of slowdown. The frame rate died, basically. Let me try to plug this back in. Actually, this is interesting. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, power is restored. We will continue. But yeah, my carrier was trying to hold some field control, hold this artifact so that they couldn't pick it up, but they did indeed get it because of that air, because of those siege cruisers there, so. Descara definitely trying to make a hold of the extraction zone here, because my frame rate plummets due to all the Khaan't siege and all that stuff. He was actually worried his carrier would go down at this point. He's got quite a lot of units, but it's not good against this composition. There's siege that can bombard him from afar. The Khaan't carrier, of course, always very good at that as well. We're beginning to get mined out on our mains. I think all 3 players will be pretty soon. Cruise missile getting fired again. This time it's against Descara. Very nearly got his carrier. If it had been on top of that, he might have just gone down right there. But knowing that the cruise missile is gone, I'm going to push in now. And I start looking at Garmulator's carrier. I realize it's got almost no health. And I'm pushing in with these railguns, and I really think I can get it here. Interestingly, what happened here, I suppose, is that because he powered down the range, he wasn't shooting, so he wasn't revealing himself. So all my railguns are going to get killed here, but I almost have the carrier. If we can nuke it, it would be dead. But look how close that got indeed. It was only like a couple shots away from dying. Catharsis said later, after the game, that Garmulator at this point was telling Catharsis, like, don't let those sand skimmers get vision on my carrier, because of course, Descara does have a nuke ready. We are going to get vision of it here. If you look at Descara, going to pretty much instantly launch a nuke at that carrier. Once he's got the money for it, there it goes. Gotta apologize for the slowdown right here. But Garmulator is gonna dodge it. He kind of expected, I think, that, you know, Descara would launch that kind of thing. And look, it didn't even get the eco. Dang. Garmulator's really good at CDC. Anyway, he probably expected that the cruise missile was going to be launched to get the carrier, so he dodged it, really. And that's nicely done. At this point, like, that probably would have been game-winning for us. Now it's probably game-losing for us, because Descara can't hold this area of the map right here. The siege cruise is pushing back on him pretty well, although it looks like he's actually going to kill a bunch of them right now. Oh man, it's so close. I feel mad about that. But anyway, the big problem is that Garmulator can push in. He's got 7 railguns, 30 LAVs, 30 LAVs. That's insane. I've really got nothing to hold this now. So he can definitely push in now. This is like his fight to take. I'm gonna try to produce sand skimmers to deal with this, but I mean that's not gonna be particularly effective. And so at this point, we will get rolled either way. Descara might just go down on his own here anyway, but once Garmulator arrives with full health again, and there's no chance that his carrier is going to go down this time, he's probably done. We're probably done for. Looking back on things, if I had had Power Reserve 5, we probably would have won right there. So that was probably where we went wrong here, is I should have had Power Reserve 5 and my carrier to fire the Galveston missile barrage, take out Garmulator's carrier. You see, I'm just kind of trying to control this sand skimmer blob here, trying to intercept them. Oh, it's getting shots in the railings. Nice. Nicely done, carrier. Yeah, production cruisers going down, all 3 of them, in fact. So I'm essentially out of this game here. And Descara was like, maybe we can win on artifacts, so I come over here to pick it up, but nope, Garmulator is there with his carrier. Catharsis has the air as well. Definitely not going to get an artifact extraction at this point. The scoreline is 4-4, so that would have been a way to win, but... So now I'm thinking, well, maybe if Descara and I can, like, team up against Garmulator, we might have, you know, a chance of taking him out at least. Cruise missile hits most of the, like, one of the support cruisers, a bunch of railguns right there. Descara will probably go down before I can get there. And then at that point, it's really just going to be a trivial matter for Khaan't and my cruise missile to win this game. And in fact, you know, Catharsis is chipping in really good damage here with the carrier. I might let my carrier get killed, I might just GG out of the game, I can't really remember at this point. But it shouldn't really matter, of course. Look how many siege cruises this. That is 7 siege cruises right there. As well as a pentuple barrage there from the Khaan't carrier. And that is definitely going to be GG. What a sick game, right? I think it's a lot of coordination between all of the players there. It was a lot of fun, and I think it was probably the highest level 2v2 that I've seen played yet. So, oh wow, look how big the range is from the sensors there. That's funny. Anyway, that was an awesome game. Big thanks to everyone who played in it. And I hope we'll have some more 2v2 content coming out soon. But for now, I must continue to cover the Khaan't Cup 6, of course. I will see you guys next time.